Marc's going to join me in a few minutes to talk about a very specific product that we have. I wanted to just level set the room on who GHD is, if you don't know. We're a global engineering firm. We're 11,000 people, 200 offices around the world, looking at the business from really Asia, Australia, North and South America is really where our core business is. We're a client-led organization looking at how we drive client solutions. Our 4 focus sectors are transport, water, wastewater, the environment, and then obviously oil and gas, one of the reasons why we're here today. Looking at our overall global portfolio, we've got 300 clients in the oil and gas sector. A lot of clients are here today. Maybe they're watching the baseball game. But 300 clients across the globe. We've got 3 pillars of our business. The lion's share of our organization sits on the global consultancy side. That is 11,000 engineers working on client-driven solutions. We also have our global advisory business, which is really our KPMG Bain consulting model. A lot of the team members inside the advisory business sit inside, come from a Big 4 management consulting group, and they're really looking at client business challenges from a 5 to 10 to 20-year horizon level. And really helping our clients look at the business on a much broader perspective. And then Marc and I sit within the Global Digital Services group. We are a new group, really launched about 2 years ago, and really focused around launching in Australia about 2 years ago and launching in North America just this past year. Really those 3 sectors, those 3 pillars of our business really look at overall working together as a one GHD model and developing client-led, client-focused solutions across those 3 pillars. If I look at GHD Digital, again, I touched upon it briefly. We launched 2 years ago, really in Australia, as the first step into a digital transformation or Industry 4.0 model. We then launched in North America this just past year. I come from outside the organization. I come from a technology background in business consulting and business strategy background. Very different than coming up through the business on an engineering level. I'm not an engineer. I'll raise my hand. And we've got around 550 people working on the global business on the digital side of it. Just 225 to 250 people, 250 people working on the digital business here in North America. We also have global and North American partnerships as we support the business. The 3 pillars within our business are digital experience, which is the practice that I run, our digital intelligence business, which is our data science, data analytics, and predictive modeling business, and then our digital innovation business. That is very much focused on working with startups, from co-creation, co-collaboration models with our clients, and/or looking at opportunities to innovate our business from the inside. We're also a recent APN partner. That we've been able to really move our business forward with the APN, and one of the reasons why we're here today. Really, the industry business challenge that we're going to talk about today is really thinking about the operational struggle that happens around managing risk on the operation side of the business, but then also making sure that we're managing profitable business performance. How do you balance those 2 things, and how do you use digital technologies and digital transformation models to allow an organization to thrive, managing those two perspectives? Really, from a GHD and Amazon perspective, looking at our much broader solution ecosystem, we've got really a core mandate of developing in creating and monetizing the solutions that we've created, very much focused on our client opportunities and engineering solutions that we develop for our clients, and think about how we actually roll those out across the industry as industry-wide solutions, and allowing us to really launch those and release those products with a robust suite, managing the balance between that operational risk and business performance, making sure we're actually really driving value for our clients. We're going to talk about 4 of those today, very much focused on the midstream. We do work upstream, midstream, downstream, but today we're talking more specifically around the midstream. Marc's going to talk about our midstream digital transformation, digital pipeline automation product that he and his team developed. our asset management and pipeline integrity with using UAS and drones to be able to manage that. Real-time operations in terms of our emergency response business. It's a large business that we have in North America, and moving that into the real-time model. And then a very topical discussion point around manning emissions workflow for greenhouse gas and carbon emissions, and using how to look at that from a transformative perspective. So in terms of where we are on the value chain, we do, as I said, we do work upstream, in midstream, downstream. Today we're obviously talking about the midstream. For the most part, large part of our service perspective is obviously engineering, automation, construction, environmental, compliance, health and safety, and emergency. We do much more than that across the business, but today, sort of, the lion's share of what we do in the midstream is really focused around those key areas. Everyone in the room really knows these numbers. I don't necessarily need to call them out, but in terms of the overall addressable market in the midstream, there's millions of miles of pipe, whether it be liquid natural gas, whether it be crude, whether it be refined product. You need to be able to understand where those millions of miles of pipe and what they're doing. How do you leverage digital technology to really understand that? And today we're going to talk about how we're working towards helping our clients really understand what's going on with those millions of miles of pipe. I'll turn it over to Marc. Marc's going to talk about OCC Assist, one of our products. He and his team created this, and he has a really great background on how it comes to life.
As we talked about, we're focusing on midstream, and as you guys know, the OCC has a fun job of moving product from point A to point B and keeping it in the pipe, right? And with that, they have to do it pretty efficiently. You're always concerned about electricity costs, the volume of product in the pipe, are you maximizing it, and certainly DRA usage. And what OCC Assist does is support the overall controller in what he's doing day in and day out, and does a lot of the heavy lifting. So we're going to talk about the key areas. Safe operation, right? People want to reduce the cycling in your pipeline. The pipeline operator is using a SCADA system, automation, PLC programming, taking that information in, trying to turn on, turn off pumps, adjust the open and close valves, potentially adjust the VFD setting. What OCC Assist does is all that. It basically takes a schedule and ensures that it is operating as efficiently as possible to reduce cycling. It's using, with the help of AWS, the data coming from historical data and real-time data to ensure that you're using that efficiently, in the sense of what's your temperatures, what is your flows, what is your pressures. Is that current operation consistent with historical data based upon the type of product, seasonal fluctuations, numerous items that come in and play a part of that. Cost management. Are you getting the best use of your DRA, or are you getting the highest balance between DRA and power usage, or your VFDs set at the right, or are the pumps correct? A lot of the current technology is done through modeling and then applied into the real world by training your operators. This does it in real time. Other efficiencies, again, are you getting the maximum amount of product in your pipe? This will help you yield the most volume, so you're getting the number of barrels you want from point A to point B on that schedule with the most cost-effective approach. Resources. Today, you have an aging workforce, and I don't know about you, but no one's raising their hand and saying, I want to run a pipeline. A lot of the younger generation in particular. So we're seeing people that are aging out of the workforce, and not a whole lot of people are coming in to replace them. And OCC Assist, by virtue of its operations, really limits the number of resources you need on the pipeline. And then certainly asset management. Using that same data and looking at that, using some of the Amazon solutions, you can kind of interpolate the data and kind of do that analysis to say, do I have an issue on my pipeline regarding a pump, valve, is something failing or about to fail, and not being reactive, but being proactive. So how did this all work? This was a few years ago. One of our clients came to us and said, there's got to be a better way to run a pipeline. This, in particular, is a refined products pipeline we started with, but the bottom line was there's about, I think, 60 different boutique products in the system that they have to keep an eye on. And they had to say, how can I do this like my best operator? The best guy ever. Can you do it like that? And so what we did was basically took the time, understood how they ran the line, look at the historian data, and basically the first pass was run it like the best guy runs a pipeline all the time, every time. Everybody runs it that way. The automation runs it that way. Splits the product, delivers it from point A to point B, all based upon that schedule. And if you have a third party coming in, that is always the case, and says, hey, by the way, I need X amount of barrels in my tank, not the ones that I already nominated, I need to change that. This handles that change in real time. In addition to, as we progressed it, we said, okay, let's take the historian data and real-time data and look at not only the best operator can operate the line, but things that we can glean from the data and say, let's make them better. Let's run it even better than that guy, because we can look at the VFD settings, look at DRA usage, look at all these parameters and interpolate it, and then suggest a new operation. So that was the next rendition of of the software. And this software, again, sits over your SCADA and PLC software, so it's no upgrades for your SCADA system, no upgrades for your PLC software. And now we're entering into a phase where everything is real time, so that the analysis is being done in real time, and we can actually change the operation in real time based upon all that data coming in, and again, a historical understanding of how the line runs. So I'm going to pass the mic back to Ron here on sharing all the Amazon products that we used and putting the product together.
Just in terms of, we're not talking about what the architecture looks like of the system, but in terms of the product ecosystem, leveraging Snowball Edge to be able to work on an on-prem environment, to be able to actually help us with the machine learning, leveraging SageMaker from a machine learning model, looking at how we actually grow and evolve the product, leveraging IoT in field to be able to help us collect more data, to allow the system to be smarter, allow it to be able to capture more data, to be able to move into a much more consistent and aware system into real time. So this is very much driven on what the product ecosystem is. So now in terms of asset management and pipeline integrity through our UAS business. So in North America, we've got about 60 drone pilots as a part of the business. They sit inside my digital experience portfolio. We address the business a little bit differently. We are a vertically integrated drone solutions provider. We actually, instead of an organization just being able to develop the flight plan, capture, process. We're an organization that actually allows to visualize that through our IDS and visualizations team. We have the ability to analyze that with our engineers, and then have that team actually take that data and do something with it. So developing specialized engineering solutions, and then able to deliver those and implement those across the system. So yes, it's a data capture, but it's allowing our entire ecosystem to work together as a one GHD model and letting our engineers deliver more effective, more efficient, and more aware solutions. As a part of our UAS business, one of the client solutions that we developed based on a client need was a product called PhotoViz. PhotoViz is an actual software product that our team developed based on a Unity gaming engine that actually takes the data coming off our drones, coming off our UAS systems, even coming off mobile handheld devices. It could be cameras, it could be cell phones, and actually take that data and visualize that data to be able to look at asset management, asset integrity, and then actually moving to a change detection model. So here's a video of how it works. It basically takes the data coming off from a capture, from a flight, allows that the ability for that photogrammetry to be able to move into a visualization model. This is a water line, a water pipeline. But what it does, it actually allows people who are not necessarily on site to be able to actually see what that capture looks like, share that capture. You can actually create notations on this. You can actually then share that. Working with the AWS team, we're moving into a SaaS-based business model to be able to move this product into the SaaS world. Because this is actually an engineering solution that we use every day in our business, now we actually want to share it with clients. So you can actually annotate, you can share this, the ability to be able to share this with the ability to integrate this with an SAP system, being able to create change orders, work orders. That's the vision of how we actually are going to evolve the product into a SaaS model. In terms of midstream use cases, obviously pipeline inspection, looking at air quality, air monitoring by using UAS, obviously air asset management in visualization, and then also emergency response. Looking at where we're moving, we're actually leveraging our relationship with AWS to be able to move our organization into a real-time model, allowing us to be able to move to a future state where beyond visual line of sight, the ability to launch drones independently of operators, to be able to capture that, to make sure that change that you've seen, obviously the missing bolt on the pipeline, it's actually been done. Launching that drone and running change detection, being able to make sure that that's been done and putting that back into an SAP system to be able to track that and manage that. And that's where we're working with the team at AWS to do that. Emergency response. Emergency response is a huge part of our business here in North America. We do a lot in the midstream. We do a lot in quite a few sectors in the oil and gas industry. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. This is a bit of a bullet list on the services that we offer in emergency response. That specific business unit is called GHD First. We work across multiple different sectors, oil and gas, obviously, the rail, facilities, and transport. You can run through that list, what we do, but really at the end of the day, our team is first on the scene. Our team is there to be able to help make sure that public safety, workforce safety, environmental safety is job number one. And then how we then take that data, use that data to be able to provide environmental solutions, public safety, asset solutions for the business. One of our clients in the rail sector, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. The most important thing is GHD always shows their value through innovative solutions and capability in field. That's our badge of honor. We have to continue that moving forward. We have to make sure that we're always evolving our product and our solutions in an innovative fashion. We also have to make sure that we are the ones that are seen on site, on incident, that we are the quarterback. We are the keeper of that data, we are the keeper of that knowledge, and we are the steward of that. We have to keep moving that ball forward. In terms of what our emergency response platform looks like, obviously we've got our sectors. We're using our UAS drone business. It's our first point of visual reconnaissance. It's our eyes in the sky to understand what's going on. we're capturing that data. We obviously have field data collection that's happening on site in a mobile data collection format. We're using products within the ecosystem to be able to help us move this entire product and service into real time. And the reason why we want to move it into real time, it actually allows our entire business to operationalize globally. One of the things that we hear very, very openly and honestly from our clients is we want the best team. We don't care where they sit. We want the best people on our business to solve our problems. And we need to be able to operationalize that data. So if someone's sitting in Australia, if someone's sitting in, let's say, the UK, and they are the best to solve that problem, we can operationalize that data, be able to help them join the team remotely. What those, obviously the core part of that is using things like Kinesis, using things like Lambdas, using the vision of us as being able to actually use a machine learning model on the data that we're capturing over and over and over again, that we can actually have advanced knowledge when we're arriving on scene to understand what those best practices are, and using that data to be able to move that ball forward. Obviously what that means is making sure that we actually have the ability to deliver the right resources at the right time in an urgent and long-term fashion. Making sure that we're understanding workforce and public safety is job number one. Making sure stakeholder management, obviously making sure that that data in real time actually allows us to manage those stakeholders. And then obviously industry regulators, making sure that we're giving them advance notice and managing this thing ahead of time to be able to minimize environmental impact and maximize the value that we can provide back to our client. In terms of really sort of where we're moving into this real-time fashion, the ability for us to increase public safety in workforce safety, mitigate urgent and long-term environmental impact, proactive operational cost and management, regular notification. And the other side of this thing that we all don't necessarily want to talk about, but that's the open, honest discussion, is advanced litigation support. You don't want to address a situation 3 years or 4 years down the line. We actually want to be able to take that data that we've captured and be able to advance that to litigators if we actually have to move into that fashion. So we actually have a capture point that we can actually help advance the dialogue around litigation and be able to visualize that and manage that and making sure we've got those checkpoints to balance it. So this one is, I'm not going to dive deep into this. This is a big part of the lion's share of our business as GHD in North America is the environment. We've kind of cut our teeth on the environment, working on Superfund projects, large-scale data. The majority of that work in the environment is in oil and gas. So greenhouse gas and carbon emissions monitoring is a big part of what we do currently. We've developed products to be able to help automate, operationalize, and move these discussions forward. I'm not going to get into sort of big background of what this is, just being cognizant of time. But at the end of the day, we need to strike that balance between corporate sustainability goals. I think somebody mentioned the big, hairy, audacious goals in an earlier session. We know that we have to make those moves as an industry to be able to get to a more sustainable movement from managing stakeholders, from managing shareholders. Just it's the right thing to do. It's also managing regulator compliance, managing shareholder value, profitable business operations. You need to balance all those things in a bit of a soup, in all honesty. Some of those forces at play, those sustainability goals, environmental protocols, federal and state governance, stakeholder relations, shareholder relations are honestly becoming more and more discussions that we're having with clients around shareholders actually forcing discussions around sustainability efforts. Environmental activism, we know that is something that we all need to address. And then liability management. We're working with Amazon to be able to take the products that we've developed as a part of what we deliver as GHD for our clients and actually monetizing those and creating products that we can actually move the ball forward for ourselves and for our clients around environmental impact. Looking at automation, looking at predictive modeling, whether that be greenhouse gas, whether it be carbon offsets, you name it, that's what we do. And that's where we see the future is actually addressing these things on a digital transformation model and starting them from day one and moving them forward around how we address the business around the environment. So I've got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to give a bit of a snapshot around sort of how we got started and the value that we've seen with the team at AWS. So why work with AWS? So I have a bit of a background. So I have a long-standing relationship with AWS. I've worked for them in the past. When I came on board at GHD, we were openly a Microsoft Azure shop. One of the things that I had said to the organization when I came on board was I want to be able to bring people that I know and people that I trust into the business from AWS and help us advance the dialogue faster, knowing the product and knowing the portfolio. And the team within the oil and gas team here in Houston really welcomed us with open arms. And they've truly worked with us as a partner from day one. And one that's based on relationships, but also really based on us as GHD and AWS really evaluating the fact that we are solely focused on client goals. Our values are the same. We look at the business from a client-centric perspective and solving problems for clients faster, more effectively, and smarter than anyone else. So that's been a great one of the big reasons why we've been able to move fast within this organization together as partners. We're a complex organization. We're a global organization. Multiple regions, multiple sectors, multiple different business units, multiple data sets, multiple servers, on-prem. We're moving a lot of our data environments to the cloud to be able to help us operationalize that data. But really, the three key perspectives for us in the relationship is, number one, global delivery. Because we are a complex global organization, we need to be able to scale products and solutions for our clients, which for the most part, Exxon is one of our clients. We are moving to working with them on a global perspective. We need to be able to work at a global level with the products and solutions that we deliver because that's the way our clients work and that's the markets that we work in. So the ability to scale globally is a huge part of our business. The ability to scale consistently and delivering that same experience for our clients in that perspective is imperative. The ability to move the speed to market. So agility is the buzzword of today. In reality, we have to move with agility. Number one, because our clients expect it. Number two, the market expects it. And the ability to serve and deliver those solutions at the speed of the market allows us to get ahead of it, to be able to manage costs for ourselves and for our clients. So Amazon is a leader in that, in being agile and being able to move through the business to be able to offer solutions that are valuable to themselves and valuable to ourselves and valuable to our clients. So speed to market is a huge part of how we've been able to move so quickly, and we couldn't do that with AWS. The one thing, very openly, APN is a new. It's new for us. We've just recently moved into the APN relationship with AWS. The Amazon Partner Network has been key. It's one of the reasons why we're here today, because we're an APN partner. It's allowed our team to train. Right? Because they need to train, they need to have knowledge, they need to understand the product ecosystem, the ability to market, the ability to evangelize about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and we couldn't do that without APN. So that's it for ourselves. So if you have questions, we're happy to take. Marc and I will be here. But thank you very much, and thank you to the team at AWS. I really appreciate it.